how close do we need to have our ground control spaced for it to be sensible? Well, let's think about ideal control to begin with. So we've got ground. We'll show it as a line to begin with, and we're flying our drone at a certain height, and it has a field of view. And we have an overlap where we want, if that is 100% distance, we'll set our overlap at 50% would be this, and 75% would be this. 75% actually is quite a nice overlap. So let's draw in a whole bunch of these drone photograph locations. So the next drone is going to be there, and it will have a shot like that. The next drone is going to be here, and the next drone is going to be here. Okay, and so on as it's flying. So in an ideal world, we would have every single drone able to see a ground control point somewhere in its space. So let's, in this instance, say, okay, well, does this last one actually need to have that ground control we're showing? Actually, this ground control point could be here. And if that ground control point was there, then everything all the way out to this drone location here can see that ground control point. So there is an argument that probably the next ground control point only needs to be here and out here. So this is an ideal scenario where every single photograph would be locked according to a ground control point. And the question is, how far apart is that? Well, you need to kind of work it out a little bit. But as a rule of thumb, maybe this might be as much as 90 degrees. It depends on the camera. And you've got your height above the deck, Z, that you're flying at. So you can actually work it out. So in this particular instance, you might find that the distance between ground control points as an optimum might be 1.5 times Z. Now that is far, far too aggressive because, of course, that's ideal. And on that basis, you may end up getting into a process where you've got so much ground control point that you might as well do traditional survey. And that is what we're trying to get away from with drone modeling. So I have found that actually you can get away with this one here, not perhaps being from, because in this particular instance, one drone can actually see two ground control points. Through a little bit of trial and error, I have worked out that actually this photograph here will hinge on the accuracy of this photograph, which hinges on that ground control point. And there's a certain amount of lateral sharing of control. So in my experience, I have worked out that actually this distance here can be something like 2.5 to maybe 3 times the height that you're flying, depending upon the overlap that you're running. But that's probably not a bad rule of thumb for a 70 to 80% overlap with ground control. You end up with some photographs hinging on the accuracy of well-controlled photographs, but as long as you're not too far away from those, that works very well. So a good rule of thumb, 2.5 to 3 times the flight height that you're flying. Okay.